Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out Destiny's Sword. Now, in terms of trying to explain what Destiny's Sword is, I don't know, because as I was getting the materials together for this video, it became very confusing, and we'll kind of go through what we mean by that as we get through these videos. It looks like this game was originally showed off back in, what is the timing of this first video? Back in August of 2019, and it looks like it's had a really hard time with development and finding in its identity. Development problems are not new today, but when I found out what they were originally trying to do versus like what their Steam page says, it raises some questions. But we'll get to those. But first, let's see where this initially came from. So this is the pre-alpha teaser from August of 2019.
The galaxy rests on a knife's edge. Division grows as conflict spreads. Once a remote paradise world, Cyprus has now become a battleground, caught in the struggle for resources and power.
Ooh, lots of frames.
Empower and inspire your team. Evolve and adapt your tactics. And shape the future for all. But at what cost? Write your story, Destiny Sword, coming 2022.
So, really all that looked like was about, you know, kind of like a tactical RPG, maybe. Like at one point, it's like, oh, okay, is this like a turn-based RPG where it's just like dodgeball style, but maybe with like some area effect style mechanics, thinking like, you know, Chrono Trigger. And then you get into this and you're like, okay, so maybe it's more like tactical, right? Well, like Fire Emblem or XCOM. But the thing is it's still even harder to determine what it is after that. And so let's jump forward from August 2019 to September of 2020, where they showed off the alpha build for Destiny Sword.
The toughest battles are fought within the mind.
You know, if the words infinite are used in a story, in a game trailer for anything beyond the title, I start to not believe you. Looks very much like the footage we already saw, except with some extra, like, non-combat menus. They're doing like a surgery there. We've all been the hero. It's time to be a leader. What? Okay, so we're gonna keep moving because honestly, like, so before we watch their latest trailer, which is the official trailer for the game, okay? So this is a walkthrough for the game's alpha build, but this is also 2 years old. This is also from September of 2020.
You will never succeed alone, but in command of your squadron, you're unbeatable. You'll need to lead your troops not only into battle, but out of battle and into the world of what happens after the fighting is over. This is Destiny's Sword. Destiny's Sword is a strategic living narrative game featuring unprecedented character depth.
Strategic living narrative.
Footage of the alpha version of the game, which will have a playable demo on Steam during PAX Online beginning September 12th. In Destiny Sword, you will join thousands of other players to create intertwined adventures and shape the evolution of the story together.
You will join
Destiny
thousands
Sword
of
is
other
developed
players.
by Two Dogs Games, a veteran development team. The game leverages their...
Does Two Dog Games actually work on those games? No, they don't. The studio must be made from devs that have worked on these games.
proprietary Insight Engine character AI technology to produce an infinite number
That was some
of
words.
characters that fill the galaxy. Players command a squadron of futuristic troops sent to quell unrest on the planet Cyprus while securing the supply of lucidium for their faction. Players are assigned to guilds, and each guild strives to upgrade their support ship with capabilities that include medical bays for treating wounded characters, engineering capacity to upgrade squads' armament and craft massive playable fighting machines, and a guild hall where players can interact with each other and participate in social events. But the heart of your Destiny Sword experience is your troops. Each player commands up to 20 characters, and every character in the game has a unique backstory and personality that will react differently to other characters and situations. This means getting to know your characters and guiding their development is key to the success as a team. Every addition or subtraction from
Emotional state matrix. He's scared as fuck.
We can see the depth of these characters on display in the recruiting menu. As we recruit various characters, we can explore their diverse backgrounds and personalities.
Why does every
When we first
character
meet a
stand the
character,
same
their
way?
personality values are fogged to us, but as we engage with them and experience events with them, that fog diminishes until we have a really clear picture of what makes each character tick. We can talk to characters to try to find out whether they'll be a good fit with our team. And
What's
use
my
their
emotional
responses
state
to
matrix
gauge their
say?
Personality traits and
Concerned. Wait,
enhance
what are my
their
options?
effectiveness for our squad. Let's
I
jump
don't know.
over into combat and initiate the war game mode. This is like a persistent game of Risk where we fight to capture and hold territory for our faction. We can outfit our
So you're
squad with
trying to build a
skills
game
best suit
that
them and their
is
mission, and then take
planet
them.
side,
In battle, we can
but
coordinate our squad's abilities to give them
a
an edge
tactical
over the enemy.
RPG?
Or we can tip the course of the battle by activating command order cards, which can trigger repair systems on the squad's power armor, or call down death and destruction from our orbital support ship. Events that our characters experience in combat
Or like
affect
For
their
Honor,
emotional
but it's a
states
tactical
and
RPG?
relationships with other characters, and these will in turn affect their performance in future battles. How we manage our team off the battlefield is just as important as our strategy on it. Injured characters need to be healed and damaged equipment repaired, and top guilds will have a slick support network where players take turns performing medical and engineering procedures for each other when not engaged in combat. These medical and engineering procedures affect character psychology just as much as the combat, and when it all gets too much, commanders use various tools to support their troops through their emotional turmoil, including engaging in
You
dialogue
are your
with their
soldier's
characters and
therapist.
attending social activities
Not a
in
good
the
idea.
guild hall.
Your commander should not be
Guild
your
hall
therapist.
social activities will include things like parties, which help characters blow off steam, parade drills, which help characters regain focus and come back to earth,
Drugs.
and
Oh, man,
funerals,
you're
which help
scared? Here you
characters
go,
gain
man.
Closure and deal with their grief if a comrade falls in battle. All players who attend while these activities are active will gain the benefits, and activities will also provide
Man, this sounds like some
opportunities
mobile
for
game shit.
characters to interact with each other, drawing players into the ongoing stories themselves. Guild hall activities can be bought with social currency that is earned by helping other players, either through healing their characters and repairing their equipment, or by assisting in one of the many
Admittedly, it also
popular
kinda
game
looks
modes
like some mobile game
multiplayer
shit.
boss battles.
It's not,
All of
though.
this takes place
Yet.
in a rich narrative universe created by our New York Times best-selling author M.D. Cooper. M.D. has written our prequel novel Lucidium Run and has over 500,000 copies sold in her own Aeon 14 universe. Destiny Sword,
But not in
was
this
created as a
universe.
rich,
She
global
sold
narrative
500
event that will
copies, and that's
play
because
out
that was what was
persistent,
required for the print
massively
run.
multiplayer escape rooms. Players will work together to solve puzzles and uncover the information they need to overcome thematic challenges, hacking terminals, fighting fires, and interrogating characters in the scene. These events will offer players access to exclusive customization, items, and achievements, but they will also provide the opportunity to shape the evolution of the story itself. Event results will shape each new novel in our ongoing series, as well as the dynamic story within the core game. Players who stood out during these events will have...
So, I'm going to pause this right here, okay? So they actually have what, on paper, sounds like a really cool pitch, okay? There's this world, there's 3 different factions, players commit to the factions, you have these living, breathing characters that you want to take care of and care for that are within your party, and the actions that you make, they go forward and they shape the world and the story within the game, and then that actually leads to what changes next, right? Like that, what season 2 happens the devs will build based off of the events in season 1, or maybe like season 3 is based off of season 1 so that they can have development time while season 2 is going or whatever, right? And then they're even going to take that farther with something like printing novels based on the actions of the players and the characters that they command. That's cool and all, but let me tell you what, it never works, okay? And it's not because it couldn't work, it's because it doesn't work. Let me tell you a quick little story about a very lovely fucking trading card game called Legend of the Five Rings, okay? Legend of the Five Rings is a fantastic card game at its core, okay? But they pursued a similar venture of that the people that, the factions that won the large tournaments, and ultimately the winner of the large tournament would get to make adjustments based off of the actions within the tournament, and the winner would get to design a character or a card that would then become a character and a card for future sets and future things in the stories. And it fucking did terribly, because you know what? You shouldn't trust people who aren't story writers and people who aren't actually like involved with those processes any level of genuine control over those things, because the general populace is an idiot. I understand it sounds really cool, but trust me, it will not work. But okay, so now, that said, okay, so we're going to go to the Destiny Sword website real quick. On the Destiny Sword's website, okay, the first MMO to realistically portray mental health. It's a groundbreaking, socially driven MMO that cultivates empathy, strategic thinking, and cooperation in stark contrast to the in-game cultures of conventional online games. Experience exciting cinematic combat while supporting your character's psychological and mental health throughout their combat careers. Not a therapist. A community-first MMO. Cooperative gameplay mechanics encourage communication and teamwork, assuring that all players are valuable and able to contribute to a meaningful way, regardless of their achievement level or intensity of play. Before we watch the latest trailer, we're going to step also over to the Steam page for Destiny Sword. So this is the Steam page for Destiny Sword. And I'm going to highlight this right here. Here, let me make it bigger. Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Let me make it bigger. That's as big as it goes. We're gonna look right here. Okay? We're gonna look right here. Hello? Hang on. This is set by the people that set up the Steam page. Okay? The people that are creating the game, they set this up, right? That says single player. Now, mind you, this alpha build showcase that we just watched, this walkthrough about like what you're going to do and how it's going to work, is from September of 2020. There was almost no information that I could find that was like tangible for like where this game was going. Because on their YouTube page, right? So this is their YouTube page. Their actual YouTube page, their last video is a deep dive into character interaction from September of 2020. This right here, Destiny Sword official trailer, this is from their publisher, Bonus Stage Publishing, who I've not really heard of either, right? This game fucking disappeared off the surface of the planet for 2 years. Their website still says it's a fucking MMO, okay? And right here on their Steam page, it is single player. A living narrative graphic adventure. Explore distant worlds, forge friendships, and lead your troops through an epic adventure. Coming soon, wishlist now. It releases on October 17th. And so early access, dynamic narration, sci-fi adventure, right? And in this, their like early access blurb that Steam, I don't know if Steam requires it, right? But in their little early access blurb, they don't talk about the MMO portion of this game. I don't think this is an MMO anymore. I don't think it is. I think like, and in terms of like the pitch, right, of like just a more story driven, really deep narrative. Like if you can achieve like an emotional state where you care about the characters and stuff like that, that's perfectly fine. But it's so weird, the massive amount of difference between what we just got done watching. Now, mind you, that's all alpha footage, right? But their website still says it. And there's even a page right here from Massively OP about asking about what happened to the kickstarted MMO, because apparently this was kickstarted. And they apparently it was even a successful Kickstarter, although it only raised $23,000. Flash forward 2 years, and it's single player, right? I will include links to all of this down in the description below, but it's super weird. It's just very, very odd to me. The characters look like if Yoji Shinkawa, the Metal Gear Solid director, character designer, reimagined Stormtrooper armor. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. It's not a bad interpretation. This sounds wildly exploitative. Well, I mean, it doesn't have a price on Steam yet. If it's cheap, I wouldn't say it's exploitative. I mean, especially since it's now at least a single player game. If it is a reasonable experience, it might not be that bad. Honestly, if I could get some bots to play MMO single player, I'd be totally up if there was more of them. Fair. Their goal is $25,000 for an MMO. You know, that's a different conversation, but I feel like there's a lot of things that we don't know, okay? I feel like there's a lot of things we don't know. But anyway, here's now moving into September of 2022, the official trailer for Destiny Sword.
Command teams of skilled troopers. With scars that aren't just physical. Determine the fate of the mission and the squad.
I think they took out the combat.
Empathy will be your most powerful tool.
Yeah, I think they took out the combat. Like, given that we see what looks like a conflict screen right here, and then like we see like again another one right here, and like it looks like they just got their artist to do a lot more work, which isn't bad. You know, it's not bad, but we see the 3 characters that have shown up, right? And they're trying to deal with a mob, and you got like this conflict bar that can either go lower or higher, right? And then where was that other screen that I took notice of? So, and then you got like these decision moments right here about like, are you going to arrest these guys or warn them and let them go? I feel like, so with a visual novel with added flair. Yeah, I think you're right, Eve. I think that is probably a very good description. It doesn't say that on the page here, but I think that might be correct, especially because the tags on the Steam page are dynamic narration, sci-fi adventure. If there was a turn-based RPG element, it would probably be on there. If there was a tactical element, it would probably be on there. So I think that the game has just completely moved away, although it is strange as hell to me that their website is still up and still looks this way. But and there is no updated information on this. Everything on this website is still from 2020, by the way. It is all still from 2020. So yeah, anyway, dynamic narration is the code for visual novel in the West, if you ask me. Yeah, because if you say visual novel, you got a bunch of Westerners that are like, oh no, it's a Japanese game book thing. Yeah, you're right, but maybe they lost access to their page. I don't know. At a certain point, you think the domain would expire, but regardless. So that's Destiny's Sword. It releases like today. It might be out when you're watching this. I have no idea actually what it is or is meant to be, because as I started to try and get the materials together for this, it got more confusing. So yeah, that's Destiny's Sword. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. Speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can watch together live on stream. And if we do stream 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.